Good to be joined by Ryan Leaf here, the Believe Network NFL analyst. Of course, working with a lot of different folks around here. And Ryan, it's good to have you on this Thursday. How are we doing?
You too. This is back in the Valley, right? The Fresno
Central Valley, yeah, California, huh? It's a great place to live, great place to.
I'm going to be visiting a lot. I'm going to call the Pac-12 games next year. So
hey.
Fresno State, part of the new Pac-12.
We got a good team.
Yeah, got a great coach.
Great coach, Coach Entz, first year. Great impressions from that. Yeah, it's been a fun season.
I called the Oregon State-Fresno State game earlier this year.
If Oregon State only had a snapper, right?
Yeah. I mean, they tried every which way to lose that game, and they accomplished it, that's for sure.
That's what we learned. Long snappers are important. But, Ryan, it's good to have you here.
You too.
Super Bowl week here at Radio Row, and, of course, you're here with Believe, but you're also here as well on behalf of remind me again.
The Menninger Clinic, it's a psychiatric substance abuse center based in Houston.
Yeah.
A nationwide facility that I started working with about 4 years ago, and it's really allowed for an asset at the end of the work I do when people reach out and need help and know the things that I went through and overcame, and now I have something at the end of that. When someone is reaching out for help, I say I have a place for you where you can go feel safe, where you can go feel seen and heard and get the help that you need. So, it's been a real important piece of my life for sure.
Well, I want to just say it's touched my life too. I've people in my life that have dealt with especially with alcohol and things like that. It's been tough to see them kind of go through that. It's the first step, right? It's always for the people. It's the first time admitting it and going in with an open mind, right? And it's interesting to see how people can find themselves through all the people that are around them dealing with the same situation. So I appreciate what you do with the work there because that touches me in my own personal life.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody has had some sort of dealings with it in one way or the other, family, friends, themselves. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. It's a stigma that has existed for way too long that has sheltered people from actually getting the help that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're here. Football is certainly in the air with this matchup, and let me talk about some topics first for our own listeners. We're a Niner station, we're a Ram station, we're a Raider station, so we got a lot of different topics to talk about. Of course, we can talk about the Bulldogs too before we get to the matchup. But I wanted to get why don't we start with the overall thoughts of just the season, right? Because I think there's an interesting situation. There's an interesting tenor going around with quarterback position. I think Sam Darnold's a real interesting aspect of it. Guys getting these other chances after, maybe it not working out. And I wonder what your perspective is on how quarterbacks are being evaluated in the NFL nowadays.
Yeah, interesting. That's a big topic of conversation. I think what you really can take away from that draft in a couple players, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who have had rejuvenated careers,
right,
is both those destinations they went to seem to be really problematic, systemic in a way, right? And toxic, where both players were jettisoned, and there's just been no answer for it since. Both ended up in Carolina, ironically enough, but that place was in chaos too. Steve Wilkes was being sent out after being an interim head coach. They got rid of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it was just nonsense. And then they both kind of felt the safe harbor. Which one was first? Baker to the L.A. Rams with Liam Cohen, and it was Sam Darnold to San Francisco with Clint Kubiak, right? So that's where those things were learned and figured out, and they stayed with it. They just kept staying with it, and you got to be really proud of them to overcome. It shows how mentally tough they are.
Right.
Because even when you go and win 14 games with the team turns around and says, nope, not good enough.
Yeah, we're not. We're fine, right?
We're fine.
Yeah.
Not good enough. And so he goes to a place that wanted him, who thinks, plenty good enough. But what I'm so impressed with Sam Darnold is the constant evolution of him. When things were going poorly, didn't matter. He went back to the lab with Jordan Palmer, carrying around that anchor of what being a bust in the eyes of other people.
Right.
He still went and did the work, got better, tried to get better every single day. Those were things he couldn't control. The things he could, he worked on, and it's the reason where he's at right now. It's awesome. It's an inspirational story, especially to me. I'm really proud of him.
Well, it's so fascinating the way that there are games like this game right here, the Super Bowl. Sometimes you have a weight of if they lose, you're going to have a different opinion of them versus or if they win. I don't feel the weight of a loss hurting both of these quarterbacks. It's because of where they were and the expectations of it. I find that fascinating, and whatever legacy means for both of these guys, especially with Darnold, it's interesting to think of the perspective going in.
Look at 2021 season and Joe Burrow. How do you view Joe Burrow after a Super Bowl loss?
Right.
There wasn't no, oh no, he's terrible.
Right.
He's like, they're going to be great. They may never be back.
Yeah.
So Dan Marino, those are instances where, I think both of them fully understand, though, that this may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
I think they're both going to continue to have exceptional careers, but, not everybody can be the Chiefs where you're there every year. This is a real reality that could come into play where you have two new teams every single year in the Super Bowl because, the ability to be competitive all throughout the league is there,
Right.
That's how it is. And so you want to take advantage of when you have that opportunity because it only comes once maybe.
I want to ask you a Rams question because I think the most fascinating story outside of the teams that have made the Super Bowl was what Stafford has done this year. And we as a Fresno station, we follow Devontae Adams' career closely, and his addition to that team, I know it probably unlocked something really great in what that team looked like and what Stafford was able to do. But just think in the late-stage career of what he is and being an MVP candidate when we're borderline thinking, is he going to play anymore after this? How insane is that to think about what he's been able to do as a quarterback?
I think it's been who he's been his entire. It's just been who he's been his entire life. It's just not been something that he was going to be gently go off into the night with no one knowing or caring or things like that. He knows what he wants to accomplish. He works towards it, and I think Sean McVay knew that from the moment they met, and he knew that was the margin that had to be gotten to get over the hump. And so they were really close this year. Another opportunity. I think Sean would probably tell everybody, after taking a look in the mirror, he probably would have done some things differently in that NFC Championship game.
Right.
And so that's probably why that loss bothers him so much.
He was uncharacteristically bothered in the end of that post-game press conference.
Yeah, it was a big opportunity for him because I do think I think whatever NFC team won that game was most likely going to be the Super Bowl favorite and have the best chance to win the Super Bowl. And so, good thing for him. It looks like Matthew's going to come back after a great year. And the Super Bowl's in L.A. next year. And last time that happened, they hoisted the Lombardi. So they got that going for them.
They feel like a favorite anytime they got them out there in terms of that. To the Niners, and the way their season went, of course, the injuries and all of the factors. I don't want to talk about Brock Purdy real quick. I want to ask, what's Mac Jones' future, right? Because I think he made an impact, obviously, with his play. And I'm curious, is he kind of the next Darnold guy that goes somewhere and maybe some team surges with him as he's like another one of those second chance guys that's up and coming?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. I think Malik Willis's name is going to be really hot this offseason. I think he's put the work in. He looked exceptional when he had to be forced in that game against the Bears late in the season. So I think those are two names that you could look at as guys that aren't newbies but are guys that have a lot of experience that could, be brought into a team that might be on the cusp of getting over the top. So, yeah, I think he did himself a real service this year when Brock was down in the way he played. Not just the way he played, I think the guts in which he played with.
That Ram game was incredible. That Thursday night Ram game was incredible.
Yeah, he just battled and battled and battled. And so I love these stories. I don't ever want to see a quarterback fail. I don't need somebody to overshadow my story so I don't have to have the biggest bust type of. I want everybody to be successful, and so I love it when I see situations in which he was set up to fail in New England and to go and have success when he got a chance somewhere else.
I had a great conversation with Rick. Rick knew I was going to come on later, but we recorded with him, and he talked about that boomer bust aspect and how it's so overblown, how it's just like one time and that's it. And I think the evolution of the evaluation of the quarterback is such a fascinating
It should be evaluated like coaches.
Yeah.
Like coaches can absolutely bust out, go back and be the best coordinators in the world and get another head coaching job like it's nothing.
Right.
You have to understand that sometimes situation plays into that, but it's never really given that amount of time. You don't get that levity or that grace in a lot of those situations, especially for quarterbacks that are drafted so high.
One more question before we let you go. You mentioned Fresno State, and Pac-12 is now coming to fruition. We're here. The future is now with this conference, and I know you've been studying up a little bit on these teams. Fresno State, I think, kind of needed a quarterback situation figured out, and hopefully they have one on a transfer. But what do you think of the way the Dogs can be looking, with Coach Enns at the helm second year now?
I think he's got his guys fired up in the right way, in the way that he wants his culture and his identity of his program to be. He wants to be a physical team up front, and he wants to be able to be explosive when they need to. They ran the ball really well against Oregon State in the game I called earlier in the year. I thought E.J. Warner did a great job.
Yeah, it was his best performance of the year.
Yeah,
with that comeback.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was impressed with the team, and I think this conference allows for. I think it's going to be the best conference outside the Power Four. I think it's going to allow for any of these teams a real opportunity to go to the college football playoff every year. Yeah,
that bid process.
Yep.
Maybe we're back to a Power 5 eventually. Who knows? Well, the whole conversation around it's crazy. But, Ryan, I know you got plenty of other places to be, so I'm going to let you go.
Thank you, sir.
Quick prediction, you Seahawks or Patriots?
Yeah, I think I like the Seahawks. I just think they're playing better. The one thing that the Patriots got going for them, it's a one-game playoff game. It's not the NBA or Major League Baseball where you play 7 to win 4. Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers this year. That's a reality in the data. He's playing incredibly well right now. He has his best game in the NFC Championship game.
It's reminded me of 2012 Flacco a little bit, that kind of run. It could be.
This team is playing as good as anybody right now, and that for me is a problematic. They don't have the wear on the tires as such as the 3 games New England has played have just been a brutal
meat grinder.
A war of attrition.
Yeah.
And now they get the 2 weeks off. I think it's just going to be a great football game.
Can't wait. Ryan Leaf here with us. I appreciate you as always, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thanks, pal.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on 1430 ESPN.